$16 silver. Is that where we're headed? Or maybe, do we put a zero on the end of that and make it $160 silver? Sure, I'll get bashed for even saying that we could have $80 silver, but the prospects for silver look brighter and brighter. And I've got a big bank that I bet you've never heard of. They said something very positive about silver. We're going to go through a brief report that they put out, but it's good news for our friend silver. There's so much going on in the world. We've got the massive BRICS summit coming up on August 22nd. More and more people are saying gold-backed currency is coming. There's even reports that the Russians have officially announced that it will be a gold-backed currency. Things are going to get very interesting for us in the world of precious metals, guys. This big BRICS meeting, August 22nd, somewhere around there could be the day, a white swan event for the gold price and the silver price. Look, we may not get immediate response from the precious metals. We know there's a concerted effort possibly to tamp down the price to keep it under control, but the general weather conditions look like we're headed for a good storm in the price of silver and gold. Have you ever heard of ANZ Bank? Come on, right? You guys, we're a sophisticated crowd. I'll be honest. I don't think it's not a bank that was on the top of my mind. ANZ. That's the Australia-New Zealand Bank. They came out with a very, very interesting tidbit about silver. Let me read this to you first, just so you know who we're dealing with. Bear with me as I pull up a brief description of ANZ. ANZ Bank. Okay, why am I? Okay, here it is. No. Bear with me. ANZ Bank. Here, I've got it. Don't leave. Okay. ANZ Bank is the Australia and New Zealand Banking Group Limited. Australia and New Zealand. That explains the ANZ. They're a massive bank. They're saying things very positive about silver, and we're going to get right to that. It's an Australian multinational banking and financial services company headquartered in Melbourne, Victoria. It is Australia's second largest bank by assets. Okay, the second largest bank in Australia. Some of you might be joining me from Australia. It's early morning right now here in the United States. If you're from Australia, have you heard of ANZ Bank? I imagine you have. It's probably like Bank of America here in the United States, or Citigroup, or our favorite bank that we all love so much, JP Morgan and our good friend Jamie Dimon. You know what? I need to get a box to put Jamie Dimon in. Let me ask you, let's ask Janet Yellen if that's a good idea. No, let's ask Jerome Powell. Jerome, is it a good idea we get a Jamie Dimon box? Absolutely. All right, Jerome, time to cut rates. Now, back to ANZ Bank and what they said about silver, because there's a lot we can read into this. There's a lot of commentary we can have surrounding these comments. They said an acceleration in the transition to renewable energy is supporting metals not usually associated with renewables, such as silver. This isn't even the good part, guys. And silver and the silver market may struggle to adjust. And when they say struggle to adjust, that means price to the upside, okay? Economist at ANZ Bank report. Let me give you a couple quotes from ANZ Bank. Due to its high electrical conductivity and durability, silver has become important in the solar industry, with the installation of solar capacity rapidly growing its role as an industrial metal. This year, this is key, guys. Listen to this, because we're gonna talk about this. This year, China is expected to add nearly as much as the total installed capacity in the U.S. Let me back up and explain that. That means that this year alone in China, they will be installing more solar panels in just 1 year than exist in the entire United States right now. And we give China a hard time about their environmental stuff. It seems like maybe they're a little more green, right? Okay? By 2025, we expect industrial demand for silver from solar to make up 53%. Wait a minute. By 2025, 53% of total demand. This will place increasing pressure on supplies. Before I forget, you know who sent me this article? You know where this idea came from? This great information? Do you know where it came from? It came from you. It came from a guy named Keaton who emailed me. 5 o'clock this morning, I'm laying in bed working, and I get this email from Keaton with this article. Thank you, Keaton. Thank you to all of you that send me great information. My email address is always in the description of every video. Guys, China is installing more solar panels this year than the United States has in total existence in 1 year. Guys, think about this. It's been reported that the next generation, the new generations of solar panels are again now using more silver. So, think about this. We have more solar panels being produced. They have silver in them. So there's more silver because there's more solar panels. But not only are there more solar panels, a double bonus is there's more silver in those more solar panels. They're saying by 2025, I missed that the first time I read it. There's a double bonus for us. By 2025, industrial demand for silver will make up 53% of the total demand. That's huge. We could be in for some great times in silver, but wait. Our friends at the Australia-New Zealand Bank. Now, when you're at the country club tonight having dinner, you can start talking about ANZ Bank if you're in America, and you're going to look like you're smart and sophisticated, right? Or if you're at 7-Eleven getting a Slurpee, like I'll probably be doing, you can talk to the guy at the counter and say, you know, ANZ Bank says that by 2025, silver demand will be going through the roof. 53% of the silver produced every year will be going to solar. Now, let's get to the next point. I do like Slurpees. Do you like Slurpees? My kids love Slurpees. Slurpees are expensive. Growth in mine production. This is what they say about the supply of silver. Again, this is ANZ Bank, the most prestigious bank in Australia and New Zealand. Growth in mine production is largely beholden, I love that word, beholden to other metals projects, for which silver is a byproduct. So what that means is most silver that's produced every year is a byproduct. It doesn't come from silver mines. It doesn't come from Hecla. It doesn't come from Fortuna. It doesn't really even come from First Majestic, although First Majestic is an awesome silver company. Nonetheless, most of the silver, I think it's like 75 or 80%, is a byproduct, mostly of zinc mining and mostly from copper mining. And our friend Ross Beatty, the godfather of precious metals, the chairman of the board of Equinox Gold, another company that I happen to be very fond of, and I have an interview on my channel with Greg Smith, the CEO. You might want to check that out. Nonetheless, Ross Beatty, who started like 8 super successful mining companies over the years, I've heard him say that now the new copper mines, remember, most silver comes from copper mining. It's a byproduct. It's an afterthought. But the new copper deposits are different. A lot of them are much deeper. And guess what? There's not as much silver with them. And guess what? Mexico basically just outlawed open pit mining. Mexico's making it extremely difficult for silver miners to operate. The table is being set for a grand feast for silver. Old Smitty, the silver bear, named by our friend Pat Holland. Remember Pat Holland? I'm trying to get him back on the show. He's a busy guy. We love him. $85 silver. Coin Shop Chris, who's here working right now to make this all possible, says, take the blindfold off Smitty when we hit $85 silver. Does it feel like we might be heading that way? I mean, this is unbelievable. Okay. It also says that above ground inventories of silver remain plentiful. Okay, we got to accept that. That's not good news, but have dropped sharply over the past couple of years, because we know from the Silver Institute that over the last 2 years, there's been a big deficit in silver. There's been much more silver demanded than has been supplied. Guys, I think this is great news from ANZ. We still got a lot more to talk about. What would happen if your silver and gold got stolen? We're going to talk about that. Do you keep silver and gold at your house? What if somebody stole it? What if you had a party at your house and there were thousands of people? I know you're a big socialite. What if your silver or gold disappeared? We're going to talk about that, okay? And we're going to talk about the difference between the spot price and the futures price. We got a lot more to talk about, but before we do that, thank you for being here. Please give this video a thumbs up. Press that thumbs up. When we get to 100, I ring that bell 10 times. I know it's a big special treat, and please subscribe. I'll put out a new piece of content every day for the rest of my life. And, whoever lives longer, you could be friends with me forever. So please subscribe to the channel. I also want to mention to you, there's a lot of scams out there that go on in the comment section of YouTube videos. And I've been fortunate. The channel has grown. I get a lot of views. The scammers are all over our comment section. They're very tricky. I will never, ever, ever ask you any way, shape, or form to give me your credit card number. There's a new scam they're doing. They're new and creative. They come up with new ways to scam people. Never will I ask you for your credit card information. Never will I ask you to contact me on WhatsApp. Never will I ask you to click on some link that asks you. You can click on my links, but the ones, if anything ever asks you for any personal information, avoid it. Really, if you want to get in touch with me, my email address is in the description of every video. Okay? Thank you, Coin Shop Chris, and thank you guys in the past for all of your super chats. It goes a long way to help support this channel. Susie and I are doing this as our primary income source, raising twin 11-year-old girls, which have become very expensive. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Never expected, always appreciated. Let's head to the comments real quick, and we got more to talk about. Zimbabwe news. Yeah, Marshmaz. If you're talking about the Russian embassy, I believe in Zimbabwe, came out with a report that this new reserve currency will indeed be backed by gold. Okay, there's Jim Rickard said it. The new reserve currency from the BRICS nations backed by gold. We're getting reports that the Russians are officially saying it will be backed by gold. Thank you for bringing that up. Ron, forgot about the Alabama beaches. Come to Corpus Christi, best beaches. Okay, you know what? Maybe I'll look into that this year. I go to Alabama most years, somewhere in October, November. So Corpus Christi, low blood pressure. Remind me of that again. Snakebite. Hey, buddy, good to see you, Snakebite. August 22nd, 2023. BRICS announce a gold-backed currency. Marshmaz. You have girls too. Yes, I have twin girls. I'm a Nigerian prince giving away free silver. Thomas Drellick. Yes, that's a very common Nigerian prince name. Thomas, send me an email and I will send you all of my banking account information so I can get my share of that free silver. No, guys. Never send your banking information. Never send your credit card unless you absolutely are comfortable. I will never ask you for either. Okay, if you want to help the channel, super chats are great. And then I have a PayPal link, I think, in the description of all my videos. But, this is free, right? I've been sponsored in the past. I have a sponsorship upcoming. Anyway, but I'm never going to ask for that information. Good morning, Matt Tyndall. What's the girls to gold ratio? Oh boy, that's a good one. I don't know how to answer that. All right, guys. What would happen if your silver and gold were stolen? Maybe you stack silver. Maybe you stack gold. What would happen if you went to look at your stack and poof, it was gone? All your silver's gone, right? Like here, 10-ounce bar, right? Let's say you got some of those. I just have one, of course, but nonetheless, let's say you got a big pile of them and they're gone. Are you covered? What's your situation? We've got a great subscriber from New York. He's been in the insurance business for 50 years. His name's Mike. He sent me a great email last night. I'm not going to read it line by line because he's doing a little more research, but there's a couple key things we can talk about in terms of if your silver and gold were to disappear, be stolen. Number one, you might have a little bit of coverage under a homeowner's or renter's policy if you have that, but it's not going to be significant, right? It could be $500, it could be $1,000, it could be $2,000, but likely it's not going to be very much. You might be able to add like a rider onto your homeowner's policy. And again, guys, I'm not giving financial advice, just what I'm learning, just what I'm passing along. You can do some research on your own as well, but you may be able to put some type of rider on your homeowner's policy to increase the amount. But then it gets tricky because there's different insurance policies available based upon whether you have a coin collection, like a numismatic type collection, right? Coins that are valued for their silver and gold content, but on top of that, because they're considered rare and people will pay a big premium, right? Like an ultra rare American Silver Eagle or an ultra rare gold, whatever, buffalo from, whatever, or an ultra rare Morgan that's worth more than just the silver content. There's different. Hey, thank you, Neil, for the super chat. I'm lucky. Neil, and thank you for your help on the channel, Neil. I appreciate that. That is awesome. So when you're looking at insurance, there's difference between insuring bullion and insuring numismatic, a collection, okay? There are, and again, I'm not an expert. I'm kind of relay what this great gentleman, Mike, said to me. And if I screw anything up, I apologize. But seems to be a little easier to get insurance on a coin collection, a numismatic collection, okay? But then there's a bunch of hoops you got to jump through to insure it, like, have it appraised and do that type of thing, all right? If you just want to insure a bunch of these, bullion, let's say you got a bunch of these sitting around your house, it becomes even more difficult. There's appears to not be as many options available, and there's limits. I think he mentioned like $100,000. You probably have a couple 100,000 or 500,000 of silver at your house, but nonetheless, it becomes a little trickier. And it appears from what I read and what I learned from Mike and what I looked up online that there's even fewer options available in that regard. He did mention a company called Sure, S-U-R-E. He wasn't sure, pardon the pun, and didn't want to give like a lot of details, but that's one you can possibly check out that might offer insurance policies on physical metal. Because think about silver and gold, right? And they could become much more valuable, right? Aren't we kind of hoping for that, guys? If it were to disappear on you, that would be devastating. Silver and gold have all these wonderful qualities. There's no counterparty risk. And one of the articles I read brought up a great point. Like the only real risk associated with silver and gold is it being confiscated or stolen. And we know, right? I mean, because you own it, you hold it. When you hold a 10-ounce silver bar in your dirty little paws, you got it. It's yours. You're not relying on a bank. You're not relying on anybody else to provide you with that value. You hold it, and man, it feels good, right? I mean, we love our silver and our gold for that matter. But the one risk is that it disappears. And think about what happens when there's big wars. I don't say war. Susie gets, and also I got to talk to you about the red shirt. Don't remind me at the end. I got a big controversy here in the house about the red shirt. But nonetheless, when there's wars, because Susie says I can't say, hey, thank you, Coin Shop Chris, you guys. Man, so nice. When there's war, not war, what's the first thing they do? They take the gold, right? The conquering country. I wonder why that is. I wonder why. And that goes on even to today. I mean, why are central banks buying all this gold? Why do conquering countries come in and take the gold? Interesting. Oh, it's just a barbaric relic, of course, right? Gold and silver. I mean, come on. Oh, yeah, silver's only been the most common form of money for like 5,000 years, but nonetheless, we digress. So, guys, I hope you never face that situation. I hope I never face that situation where, thank you for the super chat, super chat, Coin Shop Chris. Absolutely not expected from you of all people. Guys, please tell Coin Shop Chris thank you for his help on the channel. This really wouldn't be possible without his help. Neil as well, helping out. It's awesome and good people. Man, you guys are good people. That's what energizes me to come down here and do this, right? To get together with you. There's 250 of us on an early Saturday morning. How cool is that? And remember, we are just a sliver of the population, especially in the United States. We need to stick together. You are part of a group. On my channel, on other channels you watch, you are we're a little subgroup of the silver and gold community. Check out the Silver Degen Club sometime on Reddit, guys. I'm telling you, they're doing a great job over there as well. Let's move on. I got another email. Hold on here. This one from our friend Scott D. I'll never say your full last name online unless you want me to. Anyway, Scott D said, "Dear Ron, I watch and enjoy your YouTube channel. It's very informative. I apologize for torturing you sometimes, Scott D. I have a question to ask you. I've noticed that the spot price of both silver," this is a common question a lot of you have, "the spot price of both silver and gold varies on different precious metals dealers' websites at the same time and date every day. For instance, today at 2 p.m., the spot gold and silver on SD Bullion site was $19.35 and $23.31 for silver. On Monument Metals, it was different. Instead of $19.35 for gold, it was $19.27. And instead of $23.31 for silver, it was $23.16. APMEX was even more, $19.39 for gold and $23.40 for silver. What gives? I've noticed this since I started purchasing these metals from different online dealers. I would appreciate knowing why the difference, and if you could enlighten me." Well, you're in the right place for enlightenment. I can't tell you how many people have contacted me saying that I've enlightened them. A little bit of light. Maybe it's all these light bulbs, but we'll do our best. I want to explain this to you. Why you see different prices for silver and gold. There's two things. Number one, the easiest answer to that question is some sites use the spot gold silver price. Okay, that's the immediate price for silver and gold. If you want to buy it right now, it's the spot price. Correct me if I'm wrong on this, guys. I'm not, we're all of us learning together, but that's the spot. I go to kitco.com. That's where I get the spot price of silver and gold. A lot of sites, for instance, Yahoo Finance, if you go there and on the top bar, they always still have silver and gold up there, which I find very interesting, right along with the S&P 500 and everything else. But remember, it's just those silver and gold are just barbarous relics, right? But for some reason, Yahoo Finance has them up there. Yahoo Finance, the price is always different from Kitco. And I'm like, interesting. And there's an easy answer as to why that's the case. Kitco uses the spot price. Yahoo Finance and number of other sites, they use the futures price. They use, I think it's what's called the current month, the most current futures contract price. And futures are contracts to buy silver at a set price on a set day. I don't know all the details right now, but what are we? July 8th? So maybe there's a futures contract that expires later in July. I don't know the specific dates. Maybe it's not until the early August. It's likely going to be somewhere within 30 days. And that price is always going to be higher, okay? If it's lower, technically, you want to use a big technical term, I believe that's called backwardation. And that does happen from time to time where the spot price is actually higher than the futures price. But usually you're going to see a difference between the spot price, like on Kitco, the immediate price, and the futures price. With gold, it usually seems to be somewhere between $5 and $10 an ounce. With silver, it can be like 10 cents to 20 cents. So that's why that's the case. Number two, when you go to different, I'm not accusing anybody of anything, but I think a lot of the online bullion retailers, they want to use the highest spot price within reason without drawing your attention as they can, because the higher the spot price is, the higher the price of gold and silver, that's not the spot price. Usually that's the futures price, some sort or something. But the higher that price is that they can say gold is, let's say the spot price is 1900 even, but the futures price is 1915. Well, they can base their pricing on their website off, they'd rather base it off the 1915 than the 1900. Does that make sense? I'm not accusing anybody of anything. What I'm saying is if you're buying gold and silver, right? Let's say you're buying this bar. It's a CMT metals bar. If I was going to, and it's 0.99999999999% pure. If I was going to buy another one of those, I would do a Google search. I would search on eBay. I would look everywhere to find the best reputable seller that has that exact bar and the best price amongst all those, because you are never going to find one website that always has the best prices, right? But you want to be careful as well, right? There's a caveat to that, because you want to make sure that whether you're buying American Silver Eagle or Australian kangaroos or kookaburras, like our friend Coin Shop Chris likes, I think, if I remember correctly, he likes the kookaburra. Kookaburra, yeah. Anyway, compare, because one site might be better on 10-ounce bars, another one might be better on kangaroos or kookaburras or whatever, right? You know what I'm saying? Get my drift. So that's why we have different spot prices. Hey, Thomas, wow! What a cool gift. Super chat from Thomas Drelick. Ron, thank you for all the videos and live streams. You and informative information you provide the community. Silver under 30 is a no-brainer. For silver purchases like gold, precious metals, and direct from the Majestic. From First Majestic, yeah. You know, you can buy silver from First Majestic. Keith Neumeyer, right? He's the CEO, right? The crown prince of silver. You know, Ross Beatty's the grand poobah, but Keith Neumeyer? Keith Neumeyer's the grand prince. First Majestic, they have their own store. You can buy silver directly. And Keith, let me talk about Keith Neumeyer for a second, because I got a ton of respect for the guy. I know this company's been struggling. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you. But I will tell you, Keith Neumeyer, he is on our side. He is totally a silver and gold guy. He's also the chairman of First Mining Gold, which is another reason why I love First Mining Gold, and Dan Wilton, what he's doing over there. But Keith Neumeyer is on our side, guys. He's made public statements. Correct me if I'm wrong, Keith. And I've talked with Keith one time, and I'm going to talk with Keith again, because he's cool and he's smart and he's driven and he believes in silver. He's even said, like, we need to get some type of organization of silver miners, excuse me, to help control the price. I mean, even the Chinese are saying that. There was a couple Chinese state news reports where these silver guys are saying, we need like an OPEC for silver. So, I mean, look at what I just read you from ANZ Bank. Those of you who just joined me, go back and watch the replay of this, because ANZ Bank, Australia and New Zealand Bank, they pointed out unbelievable information about silver demand coming down the road. You know, I mean, so yeah, Keith Neumeyer, triple-digit silver. Hey, we got 100 thumbs up. I'm going to ring the bell 10 times. That's one time for each thumb up. That's called ringflation. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This last one's for you. 10. All right, guys. What about the red shirt? Let me ask you real quick. Does this red shirt bug you? I wear it every video. It's like who I am. It's part of me. There's someone who's very significant in my life, who I love dearly, who is involved with the channel. And oftentimes she says, will you stop wearing that red shirt? Will you shake it up a little bit? I tell you what, let's do a quick poll. If you don't mind, it would really help. If you think I should keep the red shirt, type 1. If you think I should dump it, take 2. Type 2. Dump 2. Keep the red shirt, 1. I get a 1. James is jealous of my red shirt. 1, red. No. I don't know. Come on, dude. 1. I like the color. 1. James Smith, 1. Oh, boy. Now, I appreciate Susie's just trying to be helpful. I'm not mad at her. I can be short-tempered sometimes. 1. How about a blue shirt? Yeah, every once in a while, I'll wear a different shirt. Rick Rule says triple-digit silver. Hey, Marshmans, we love Rick Rule. He's another guru. Rick Rule, and we got to remember, thank you guys for voting. We got to remember, here, Not wrong book. Darn it. Well, anyway, this is a good book too. 925 Silver, if you guys are ever interested. But anyway, Stuart Englert wrote a book about the manipulation of the silver price. This guy's smart, and he's going to be back on my show. We love you, Stuart Englert, okay? He's talking about the manipulation of silver. Excuse me, I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. When is the silver market going to break? And he laughed and he said, it's going to break. He said, but we've been waiting for it for 15 years. Rick Rule has a great saying, right? Like, I made up unicorn fart dust, I think. I'm pretty sure I made up unicorn fart dust. I may have heard it somewhere else. If you think you made it up, let me know. Nonetheless, Rick Rule has a great saying about what's going on in the silver market, the gold market, precious metals in general. He says, don't confuse that which is, oh shoot, I'm forgetting what he says. Don't forget that which is imminent with, or that which is, but basically what he says, man, my brain's not working. Don't confuse something that is bound to happen with the fact that it's going to happen right away, right? Like, it's going to happen. The conditions are in place. But don't think that just because that's the case that it's got to happen next week or it's got to happen next month. I know we've had to be patient, guys, those of us. If somebody has that saying, please put it in I feel like a big dum-dum. I need to write those things down before I get on here. But don't confuse that which is imminent with that which is something. Rick Rule with all his wealth. Yes, that's true, Frank. That's true. Blue is the new red. Hey, Neil. Oh, come on. Somebody come up with that Rick Rule. Oh, I didn't know that, Neil. That's interesting. Rick Rule is ignorant. I've been getting a lot of questions about platinum, a lot of interest in platinum. Guys, let me ask you. Let's do this. Do you own platinum? If you do, yes. Type 1. If you don't, no. Type 2. Do you own platinum? Coin Shop Chris, am I forgetting anything? We talked about the scams, right? Coin Shop Chris and I are going to be making a video later today. So no is 2, right? No. Philip Martinez, no. Joe Folan, no. Doug Flinch, so a lot of no's. About, seems like maybe 40%. Ebert Beeman says, Ron, you're not a dum-dum. Michelle Obama has his moments too. Can somebody please tell me what that Rick Rule saying is? Don't confuse that which is inevitable. Oh, that's it. Don't confuse that which is inevitable with that which is imminent. Thank God. The old brain still is working. I'm 53 years old, I have a hard enough time putting on lace-on shoes, more or less remembering things. Oh, yes. Oh, shoot. What was her name? I got a great super chat yesterday from, and it was in DKK, which I think is Danish kroners. Oh, man, I had it written down. Hold on a second, and I forgot to say thank you. Here it is. And I put a community post, Kirsten Iverson, 169 DKKs, which was very generous. Kirsten, thank you. You're probably sleeping right now, but if you're watching this later, thank you. Thank you, Coin Shop Chris, for reminding me of that. Frank DeSilvio, 53 years young. Philip Martinez, I'm a young whippersnapper. You got that right. Oh, I got big news, right? Huh? I'll give you 2 more rings since we're at 125. Maybe I'll give you 1 more when we get to 130. But we got a great guy here in St. Louis. I'm going to call him Cowbell Joe. He's a regular watcher of the channel. He actually works sometime. I have a big water plant by my house. It's fascinating. It was built like in the 20s. It's massive. It's down by the river. I live right by the Missouri River, by the way, where everybody went west on the riverboats. Anyway, there's a big water plant. He works there. He got a cowbell for me. So the new deal is going to be when we get to 200 thumbs up during the live streams, we're done ringing this little bell that was my father-in-law's. God rest his soul. He was a wonderful, wonderful man. And we're going to ring the cowbell. That's the big deal. So this BRICS, what do you guys think? Massive BRICS meeting coming up in August. All we're hearing is gold-backed currency. We got reports from Russia, the Russia media, Russia Times, saying that they're announcing basically this new currency will be gold backed. Now, I read a report. I don't want to be, we got to look at both sides of the coin. I read a report that said that might not be like immediately good for gold and silver. What do you think? What do you think about this new BRICS gold backed currency? I've got something interesting I want to talk about in regards to it that I don't think anybody talks about. It's good for the precious metals, but nobody talks about this, and it's not that complicated, but to me it makes sense. What do you think about BRICS? Tired of the BRICS? Yeah, well, it's the big story, right? It's coming up here in 6 weeks. But yes, I agree. It is. The dollar is dead. The dollar is dead. Hello, gold, silver. Good to see you. Hello, Stephen. A lot of crappier currencies getting together. That's a good point, Stephen. Good point. Jerome Powell says over time, Ron. BRICS controls most of the platinum mines, Neil, the platinum guru says, and have used platinum as money. Good point. And the platinum eagle, is it called, Neil? Interestingly, has a $100 face value. Jeff, I'm new to silver stacking, been at it for 3 months with my 16-year-old son in a local coin shop yesterday and was talked to like an idiot for stacking silver in front of my son. I don't know. I'd go to a different coin shop, Jeff, because most of them are very, very positive on silver. Maybe they didn't have a lot of silver to sell you, right? But to think that a local coin shop would talk negatively about silver, how dare they? You know, maybe like I said, maybe they didn't have a lot of silver, so they were trying to get you to buy platinum or gold or something like that, which is not bad, but I don't know. That's very interesting. They found a way around SWIFT. Yeah, the SWIFT, guys, the SWIFT system is the interbank system used by the West, dominated by the United States, and now they're developing their own systems. Iran has a system that they're backing that a lot of the Eastern and the BRICS countries are using. Russia was kicked out of SWIFT. They're surviving without us, right? With the BRICS will cut the head off the snake. Yeah. Hey, Andrew just got his first platinum. Congratulations. Never return to that local coin shop, Lane says. Yeah, I would kind of feel that way as well. Thomas, I believe it when it happens. Yeah. There's people that are saying it's not going to be this big immediate windfall for the gold and silver price. I can see that argument, right? I would say at minimum, right, the worst case scenario, it's going to be very supportive for the gold price and silver price, unless some powerful countries that don't like silver and gold try even further to manipulate the price down. But here's what I want to talk to you about. Here's what I think is super interesting on a big picture. Let's zoom out, let's open our minds, and let's think about the gold standard and the silver standard, right? The world over the millennia has been on the gold, silver, and gold and silver standard. Easy for me to say. It has. We know that. It's the base of all real money. Gold and silver are at the bottom of John Exter's pyramid. John Exter was a United States Federal Reserve governor. He didn't die that long ago. He wrote extensively about how gold and silver are the base of everything. Zoom out. Make believe you're on a satellite or you're on that Richard Branson space plane, whatever. You're orbiting Earth. You can see Earth all together. Guys, when you look at Earth, all right, are you looking at Earth? Can you visualize? There's a limited amount of gold and silver on the planet. We've already covered why silver and gold are the ideal forms of money and currency. There's only so much of that on the planet. There's an unlimited amount of paper and electronic money. You can make more bitcoins. You can do whatever, you can grow trees into infinity. Now they don't even need paper. They just make it electronically. There's a limited amount of gold and silver. Here's where it gets interesting with this BRICS development. If these BRICS countries are successful in gaining traction with this gold-backed currency in the world, I mean, like we know it's the biggest percentage of the world's economy. It's by far population-wise, and they're growing economies, and their middle classes are growing. The exact opposite of what's going on in the United States. right? So if they start to gain traction with this and the world starts to use gold, the United States de facto could be kind of forced into if we want to trade with them, they're trading in gold-backed currency. We're going to be kind of forced into a precious metals-backed currency environment. Does that make sense? Right? I mean, to me, that makes sense. I know it's a little heady, but if everybody else is saying, hey, this is what is value, and then, the 40% of the world economy says, oh, no, paper money and built on confidence in these fine politicians we have in Washington, that's what's valuable. Paper money, electronic money, CBDC is valuable. Make believe. What do we like to call it, guys? We like to call it unicorn fart dust because gold and silver are the only forms of real money. Really think about it. Remember, you're out in outer space looking down at Earth, right? There's only so much gold and silver. All that other stuff, you can't even see it. It doesn't really see a bunch of trees. They're everywhere. See a bunch of water, right? You might as well make water money, right? No, there's only so much gold and silver. Everything else, indeed, is just unicorn fart dust. I won't say it again on this live stream, my friends. I will not say it again. Gold going to $20,000 per ounce. Marshmans, you are on a roll. I appreciate you putting things in all caps. That way I know you got something that you want me to talk about. Thompson coin and stamp collecting. Hello, Thompson. Nice to meet you, my friend. Welcome to Ron's Basement. We are like the summer camp. Your mommy and daddy just sent you off to summer camp, right? Hey, we're all kids at heart. We're like the summer camp for silver and gold investors. Or the Mr. Rogers neighborhood, whichever you prefer, but it's summer, so we went off to summer camp. We're all sitting around the fire. What do we want to talk about? We want to talk about silver and gold. Coin Shop Chris, you're still here. Good to see you, my friend, as always, Coin Shop Chris. Hello, Neil. In March 2008, platinum was $22.70. Wow. Gold was $1,000. Now it's inverse, right? Platinum's what, 9-something, 950, and gold is twice as high. Very interesting. I'd say that I'm going to go buy a platinum coin, but I've said that in the past, and you know what? I need to be a man of my word. I'm not going to spray paint my hair red again anytime soon. Kind of like fried my hair. Here I sit and camp in Ron's Basement, original intent. You got that right. Goldback is here as well, but it's a collectible. No one uses it. Interesting. Very interesting. Any thoughts of when premiums go down? I'll let Coin Shop Chris chime in on that, but premiums on silver, I don't see them going down. I don't. Not back to where they were. Not back to, 4 years ago, 5 years ago. I think the big picture for silver and gold, the premiums aren't quite as high on a percentage basis on gold, but the premiums, to me, aren't going anywhere. They might drop a little bit, but I think we're now in a permanent environment. And what is the real price of silver, right? What is the real price of silver? The spot price is $23, right? But what's the real price of silver? What does it really cost you? I think if you're lucky, you might get a 10-ounce bar at $25 an ounce right now. Beware breakable silver for barter. Yeah, that's one of the key attributes of silver. You can divide it, right? If I needed to, I can cut this into smaller pieces. I hope I never have to do that, but if I have to, I will, right? Here's a beautiful 1-ounce bar. We can chop these things up. I could cut that into 4 pieces and have 1/4 ounce of silver, right? Go buy a couple days worth of food if I had to, right? I mean, if we had to, I'm not saying I think we're going to get to that point. And I don't think we have to get to that point, guys, for us to realize the true value that we have in silver and gold and platinum for our friend Neil. We can't forget about platinum. Melt it, don't cut it. Yeah. You know what? That'll be one of my goals before the end of the year. I'm going to do that for you guys. I'm going to learn how to melt silver. There I go, opening my big mouth. Like when I said I'd paint my head red if gold didn't get to 2,200. But I'm going to learn how to melt silver down. What the heck? I'll bring you on that little journey with me if you're interested. It should be interesting. No, James, I've never played a game of ping pong for an ounce of silver. No. When I was younger and I drank a lot, I had this neighbor named Butch, and Butch was good at everything. Horseshoes, ping pong. He was just one of those guys. He was good at everything. He worked at a Cadillac dealership. He was cool. And I used to really party a lot. Anyway, I played Butch one night when I had drank a little too much. I was probably in my mid-20s and I owned my house, and I bet him my house, and he won. And and it was just a joke. I better be careful what I'm saying here. I'm going to get a letter from a lawyer. It was just a joke. But he always joked around with me afterwards saying, "You still owe me that house," you know? Daniel's going to get his own furnace and melt. Has anyone here ever melted down silver? If you have, say yes. I'd be curious. If you ever, in what temperature? I've looked it up before. I think it's 1700 degrees. Yeah, Blaine, I know. I learned my lesson. I never bet against Butch again. Blow Dog, yes. Ron's Man, you guys you never seem to cease to amaze me. I almost said never seem to amaze me. You usually never seem to amaze me, but never cease to amaze me. Joe Fowler, this is funny, guys. He said, if I melt down silver, then I could be Ron's base mint. M-I-N-T. Ron's Base Mint. Man, that's my new business. Ron's Base Mint. Probably blow myself up. Hello, Daniel. Yes, Thomas Toops has. All right. Yes, I'll pay you for an ounce of silver. I don't think there's a lot of profit in it, selling silver, but yeah, I'll keep that in mind, Dean. Brown Dog, Mark Carroll, party in 2023 because silver's going to $999 per ounce. Do you think that's possible? You know, I get a lot of heat. Oh, I got to talk about this too. I got two. This is great. I get a lot of heat, right? If I make a thumbnail for a video, that's that little thing you see before you click on it, and I say $60 an ounce, $70 an ounce. Sometimes I'll say $50 an ounce. Sometimes I'll say $14 an ounce. Look, guys, anything's possible, right? We could get $16 silver. Yes, we know it could happen. $160 silver in the next 12 months. I think both of those are, I'm not predicting either will happen, but definitely within the realm of possibilities. I mean, really, at some point, silver, when the dollar, with all the screwed up, you know how screwed up America's finances are, right? And if history's any indicator, right, all fiat currencies fail. Well, what happens when the U.S. dollar fails? What happened in Venezuela when their currency failed? What happened in the Weimar Republic? What happened in a host of African countries when their currency failed? I'll tell you what happens, right? Gold and silver, ask people in Turkey right now, right? They're having hyperinflation, or they had some periods. Ask people in Nigeria, Zimbabwe, gold, in the currency, gold goes, I mean, sure. You know what? I could make a thumbnail that says $60 million silver, because at some point, look, I'm an American. I'm full-blooded. I don't love what's going on in our country. I don't agree with it 100%, but I still love my country, right? Or like it a lot anyway. There's parts I don't like. But at some point, right, and so it wouldn't be good news for me, the dollar will become either worthless or worth less. And we could see these astronomically high silver prices, platinum prices, gold prices, right, through the roof, numbers that we can't even imagine. That would be when we might be cutting this up, okay, this cool little silver bar. Look at the back of it. I think it says the Coin Shop Corner. My friend in California sent me that into 10 pieces so I can go buy some food or some fuel to run my whatever, right? Final thing we got to talk about. I got some really, really nasty comments, okay? Look, you guys are always awesome, but there's always a couple people, and I had one guy, maybe it was even an email from Cleveland, and he said, you got to stop promising people they're going to get rich on silver. You're misleading people. You're leading them down the primrose path, telling them they're going to get rich. Look, I don't have a crystal ball. I'm not giving financial advice. What I'm sharing with you is what I believe, right? And I've never said, hey, buy silver, you're going to get rich. No, Or have I? Right? I will argue that silver's undervalued right now. I will argue that because I believe it, and I put my money where my mouth is. I think gold's undervalued, right? I eat my own cooking, okay? But I'm not promising you that you're going to get magnificently wealthy. Is there a chance that could happen? Depending on how much silver you have? Absolutely there's a chance, right? I'm not saying it's going to happen, but there's certainly a chance. I think at minimum, oh no, I kicked you. Sorry. Uh-oh. Sorry. Hopefully you don't get motion sickness from that. At minimum, silver and gold are going to maintain their value. They're going to help you maintain your wealth. I think on the upside, yes, we could see a situation where the relative value of silver and gold become to a point where you're like, wow, I can buy a house, a nice house for 1,000 ounces of silver. I got to talk about houses as well. I think there's a real estate bubble. Okay. I live in St. Louis. I live in a upper middle class neighborhood. I'm not rich, right? This is my basement. Okay. There's 2 stories above it. I'm not in a mansion, but I'm very grateful for what I have. There's a house in my neighborhood that was really run down, a 2-story house like mine. Okay. A flipper bought it to flip it, fix it up, whatever. And it looks like they did a real good job. Well, I was at the neighborhood swimming pool talking to one of my friends that I like last night, and he said, oh my God, there's a realtor in our neighborhood that all of us know. He's a nice guy. He'd put a post on Facebook that the house sold for an amount that blows my mind, okay? $670,000. Now, those of you that live on the East Coast or the West Coast or parts of wherever, Florida, but guys, that's like that's a lot more. I can't believe somebody's paying that for that house. I'm sorry. It's great if it goes through. I feel sorry for them, especially if they're taking out a loan, because that might have just rung the bell for the top of the real estate market. I was just absolutely shocked. What do you see where you live? Do you see skyrocketing real estate prices still? Does that make sense? We've got mortgage rates twice as high, right? None of it makes sense. I know nobody's moving now because most people are trapped, right? If you have a mortgage and you got into it over the last 10 years, you probably have a 3% interest rate. So you're trapped because if you go to move, your new mortgage will have a 7% interest rate, which means for the same amount of money that you're going to borrow, you're going to pay twice as much. Same thing with car loans. But what is going on in the real estate market? The only thing I can think of is so few people are moving. There's still such small supply. I really feel sorry for the people that are buying right now. I could be wrong. Look, I'll give you a great example when I was wrong. When the pandemic hit, I had a young man come to me and said, I was thinking about buying a house, blah, blah, blah. And he wasn't really ready anyway. And I said, look, man, I would wait and see what happens with what's going on right now. And we all know what happened. So maybe this real estate, maybe it just keeps going to the moon. What do you see? North Shore, Boston, houses selling for way more than they're worth, but sales are down. Yeah, Frank, that's what it seems like around here. No mortgage, no debt. Yeah, I have no mortgage, no debt, right? And I can take risk. Right? That's just me. No debt. Debt is bad, guys. Debt is bad. If you got a 3% mortgage on a house, I would never think I'd be saying this, but that might be okay. That's pretty good rate in this environment. They have borrowed money. I'll move to Texas in 10 years. Sold modest Utah home last year for $435,000. Bought a newer and otherwise comparable home in Jefferson City, which is the capital of Missouri, for the low 200s. Yeah, that's the way to do it. If you're living in an area where you have sky-high real estate prices and you want to move, I'd do it right now. I'm not giving advice. I'm just telling you what I would do. If I lived in an area, Boston, San Francisco, or wherever, where there's sky-high real estate prices right now, and you want to move somewhere, and it's a place that is like you can get the same size house for half the price, cash it out, baby. I mean, imagine if you had some little shack in San Francisco that was worth $900,000 supposedly, right? You could come to St. Louis. Let's say you're from St. Louis, and I apologize if you have to come to St. Louis, although it's not so bad here. It's a nice place, but you had to come to St. Louis. You could take that 900,000 and buy a better house. I guarantee you, a way better house for 400 or 500,000, and you'd have 400 grand that you could buy silver and gold with. Wouldn't that be nice? But as we talked about earlier, you'd have a hard time getting an insurance policy if you're going to keep it all at your house. Oh, what about cars? I'm hearing from my contacts in the car business, the auto market, dropping, right? Same thing. I'm getting calls. We were looking for a minivan a while back, and I'm getting calls from these dealerships that were like, sorry, we don't have anything. It's going to be a 6-month waiting list, blah, blah, blah. Like, oh, we had somebody cancel. Are you still interested in the Kia Carnival minivan? I'm like, no, not yet. I'm waiting. I'll wait. Thank you very much. I'd rather have silver. How about you? Would you rather have silver or would you rather have a new minivan? Let me know. Jonathan Kirchner bought $50K of gold and silver with part of the sale of his home. Very cool. Silver chair stacker. I think any house over $250K is stupid to buy. It's a box made of wood and stone. Yeah, and for those of us in the United States, generally our construction here is like crappy. Compared to like Europe and other places in the world, probably better than a lot of places, but compared to Europe, from what I understand in particular, our houses are kind of built not to last, not as long. Lemonade is expensive in St. Louis. Yes, we own a house and land in Texas, and it's tripled in value. Congratulations. Wow, that is awesome. That's Shannon Boyd, our friend Shannon Boyd. Remote control and surveillance devices, ignition kill switches. That's interesting, Marshmaz. Dean R. Neil's living in a van down by the river. No, he's not. I've joined Neil on live streams. He's got a nice place, and Neil's a nice guy. So is Coin Shop Chris. Man, 350 people? I just looked. Can we get to 200? This will be a warm-up. Remember, I'm getting a new cowbell from our good friend Joe, right? Can we get to 200 thumbs up? It would be great if we could, guys. It would be great. Oh, Dean, yeah, Dean, we knew you were just joking. J. Powell, fart dust. 15 more, silver, new minivans depreciate. Yeah, no joke. Cars depreciate. We only need 8 more thumbs up. Come on, you can do it. You can find that little thumb and click on it, my friends. All right, Hollow Point. Yeah. Oh, brother. Oh, the hits keep coming. Let me talk about this. Hey, we got 200. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. 19, 20. Thank you, guys. Let's talk about this about silver that I hadn't thought about. Came from the book that I'm reading. I've showed you guys a couple times, The Great Silver Bull. Silver is durable. There's 2 things I hadn't thought of in the last month or so. Maybe you already knew these, but maybe not. And if you didn't, maybe it'll add a little more to your silver and gold arsenal. Okay. Number 1, silver is durable. It doesn't go bad, right? And we kind of know that, but we don't really appreciate that. Like, because they were talking about, the new BRICS currency could be backed by wheat and barley and soybeans and oil and blah, blah, blah. Well, I guess oil can be stored, but eventually, especially like wheat and stuff like that, it's consumed, it goes bad. Our silver, our gold, it lasts. It's durable, totally durable. Again, we're on that satellite looking down at Earth. There's only so much silver and gold. Hey, thank you for joining me, guys. You are the best. I appreciate the super chats. I appreciate you. Okay. Have a good weekend, and I'll see you soon.